To lead the Skol chant and sound the Yeller horn, please welcome the 31st Adjutant General of the Minnesota National Guard, Major General John Jensen.
Well, hello, this is John Randall, Minnesota Vikings legend, and it is my pleasure to say, Minnesota Vikings fans uncensored, are you ready? Keith, get your people up. Let's go. Skol, 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 baby. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
What's up, fellas? I feel like I haven't seen you guys in about 12 hours.
Oh. Was that how long our last show was? It felt like it. My God.
It was around that long. Cody, I'm surprised you got clearance and not from the Army.
Yeah. Well, I'm on leave now. I'm on vacation.
Yeah, but what about wifey?
I didn't know you could do that when you're married.
Yeah, I didn't know. Tell me about this. Is this a loophole? Oh.
Just watching the Bama game here.
Jake Paul's fighting tonight too. There's all sorts of good games going. Good stuff.
I didn't even know Bama was playing tonight. There's football.
Yeah.
Are they winning?
They just started same time we started.
Oh, I hope they don't win.
Well, I know
so tonight,
one person who will be watching tonight.
Tonight will be a short show, guys. This is a special episode. You know, normally we don't go live on a Friday, but we started this thing, the Let's Go Network. We're just trying to grow the name Let's Go, grow the brand Let's Go, and in the process, help promote other podcasters and content creators for the Vikings, and kind of just help us all grow. And we still don't know what direction this is totally going to go in, but the Purple Dopes with Hope, they have jumped in with us to do this a little bit blindly, and you know, we got each other's back now, and tonight we're going to introduce you to them. And as we do that, go ahead and go over to their channel and hit the subscribe button, because that is the most important thing. So I'm going to scroll that across the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and bring on our dopes right now. We got Kyle and Darren.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
What's up, fellas?
Give me your lunch
show.
Oh, that's what this is. I see.
Fish is a stick up kid. What's up, Anthony? We're all dopes with hopes as Viking fans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that name just like totally registered with me. Like, even if you guys weren't purple and gold, I'd be like, that's totally a Viking thing right there.
Yeah, it was just kind of a brainchild of ours of like, you know, we're just these average Joes talking about the Vikings. We're from the 90s. We're from the 90s, so we're dopes. And we live every season with nonstop hope. So Fish, buckle up, man, because we're about to bring the hopes alive tonight.
Absolutely. I gotta give Kyle a credit on that name. He really had that.
Yeah. Give me your lunch money.
Yeah,
all right, so
some more hope.
yeah. Shaq's the one who needs the most hope, so that's why he's down there with you guys. Maybe I should put him between you guys, so like you guys just be in one ear and the other.
He's gonna throw that
but
arm around.
Kyle, why don't you give us your background as a Minnesota Viking fan, Kyle?
Yeah, man. So my dad, Fish, and he was kind of sharing his story, and it really resonated with me a little bit because my dad, he grew up in the 70s in Minnesota. You know, a diehard Vikings fan. He can still name pretty much the entire 70s roster that lost 4 Super Bowls. Fran Tarkins is his favorite player. So when I hit 4th grade, and all my buddies were getting their Cowboys jackets and their Bulls jackets. That Christmas morning, I open up a box and it's a purple and yellow Vikings jacket. And at that point in time, it was like mid 90s. And about 3 years later, they drafted this dude named Randy Moss, and my jacket became very cool. And so it became very cool to be a Vikings fan. And ever since that, mid 90s, 93, I think I got the jacket. I've been rooting for him wholeheartedly ever since, and disappointed after every season. But so I credit a lot to my dad. He's been the reason. And my dad and I still during football season, we talk multiple times a week, and 90% of our conversation is the Minnesota Vikings. So
you got in during that Warren Moon time.
Yep. I had a Warren Moon poster on my wall growing up, believe it or not, in a Vikings uniform.
Freaking dads, man. I mean, my dad got me into the Vikings too out here in Southern California. His favorite football, he didn't have a favorite football team, but in middle school, he joined flag football, and his team name ended up being the Vikings. So he's like, I'm going to start following the Vikings. And because of that, I'm living this hope and misery myself.
Well, I got 3 boys, and I'm doing the exact same thing to them. So it's the generation.
You would think we wouldn't do that to our kids. You would think we wouldn't, but we do.
I'm not going to suffer by myself, Keith. I'm not.
That is fair. That is fair. And like the alternative for me, my mom's from Chicago and a Bears fan. So if I'm not strong on it, they might end up Bears fans. So
yeah, I think you got to pull them to purple rather than the Bears over there.
You got to explain to your kids point differential this year and how they're frauds so they don't get lulled, because it could very easily happen, right?
Yeah, no, I'm already outnumbered. I got 3 daughters and a wife, so I'm the only man in the house. I got to at least get them on the Viking train. But what about you, Darren? What's your background as a Viking fan?
Yeah, man, born and raised in Minnesota. Sundays revolved around the Vikings, so just didn't really have any other choice. And I'm doing the same thing to my kids. I was living in Washington for a little bit there and thought maybe they'd be better off as Seahawk fans, but misery loves company, so they had to be Vikings fans, and they're already in hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. I mean, the Seahawks, they got some Super Bowls, but I don't know if your kids were around for that.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
It was never a real option.
What made you guys decide to start a podcast?
It's a good question. So Darren and I met, in Washington, where Vikings fans are few and far between. So his wife was actually my kid's pediatrician, and she made a passing comment about her husband being a diehard Vikings fan. And it was like instantly, I got to meet this guy. And so we started chatting. We watched a couple games together, and I think it was during the Giants playoff game, him and I were just kind of going back and forth and having this really good conversation about the game. And we were like, we should do this. And they lost. And so we stopped talking about the Vikings for a couple months. And then it just kind of kept circling back as the season would wear on the next year. We'd find ourselves texting each other probably more than we were texting our wives and during the season. And last spring, we just kind of had this conversation about, is this something we want to try? And he was in, I was in. And so in June, we launched the Purple Dopes with Hopes podcast, and 25 episodes in now, weekly podcast. Tuesday mornings, we drop episodes and having a lot of fun doing it.
Fish, tell them how close the beginning of their story is to ours.
So Keith has a closed Facebook group called Minnesota Vikings Fans Uncensored. It has like 36,000 members now. And, it started off with Keith hating me because I was kind of a troll in the group. And then one day I said something about a podcast to Keith, and he said, "How did you know?" And then I said, "Keith, why don't you start a Discord for this group?" And he said, "Oh yeah, if you do it, yeah, sure." So I did. Next thing you know, we're talking. And then we were talking about doing like basically a podcast in the closed group. And then that Giants playoff game happens, and Keith was all kinds of upset. And I'm like, "Come on, man, we got to do it. Now's the time. It'll be therapeutic. It'll help that." Or no. Finally, it was like, okay. So we jumped on right after the game and did our very first show as our aftercare, and off we ran. Shaq and Cody were in it right in the beginning. I think they were both part of the Discord, and they were like, I got to be a part of this. And they jumped on, and we've been cursed with them ever since. And it's just it started off as let's do this to help us deal with all the misery and disappointment this team brings us, and it's just becoming so much more.
For
Mhm.
sure. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it turned into like I didn't know a single one of these guys 4 years ago. Now they're like my best friends. Like it's just crazy.
Love it.
Yeah, all four of us were at that Atlanta game sharing that misery. We had hopes going into that game, but we were dope
Oh,
walking.
Hopes
I
were
think I
strong
did see
coming
some
off that
pictures of
fourth
that,
quarter
yeah.
in Chicago. Oof.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's
saw
like-
John Parker Romo beat us.
I think it's a pretty special thing when a team like the Minnesota Vikings can bring kind of random people from various parts of the world, different walks of life, and we can all find this commonality in this team. It's cool to hear your guys' story because, you know, Darren and I, if it wasn't for the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know that we would have ever connected. And you find this out about someone, and it's like instantly this person knows something deeper about me than a lot of people do. So it's a pretty special connection. This
Right away. I know your pain, brother.
yeah, exactly.
Misery loves company.
You're 100% right there. Like it's like this guy gets it. Like this guy gets why I'm this guy gets why on Monday mornings I have a rough start to my days. Like that's it right there.
Absolutely.
So, Kyle, favorite Minnesota Viking all time, if you had to pick one.
Man, can I do 4?
One. We'll do
I
Mount
gotta say-
Rushmore another time.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna like take away from the last couple weeks with this guy. But when I first got into the Minnesota Vikings, Chris Carter was the man, and I was a little, scrawny, less than 100 pounds, soaking wet, less than 5 feet, and I just loved the way he played the game. I loved his humility. I loved his presence as a captain, as a leader. So Chris Carter is probably my all-time favorite Viking. But I have like sub point A, sub point B, sub point C. But I would say if I had to go one, I would go Chris Carter.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Chris Carter. He's one of my favorites too. And I remember as a kid, I did that thing where you like in Beckett, it's got all the addresses and you can write to athletes and stuff or send your card. And I sent it and I got it back signed by him. So like that's one of my most cherished things that I have is a signed card by Chris Carter. And yeah, I know lately it seems like anytime Chris Carter's in the news, it's not for good reasons. Like it's not legal trouble. It's just he's saying something stupid.
Yes.
But I think they kind of blew that JJ McCarthy thing out of proportion. Because like if you just like read the blurbs, like I was like, oh, how could he say that about him? But if you actually watch the interview about what he said about JJ McCarthy, he had stuff in between it where he was kind of patting him on the back too, and just kind of saying, yeah, he is young, and we're stuck with this, and maybe poor language, but he also did say that he does believe that JJ McCarthy could be the future of this team or the franchise quarterback, and we just don't know. But the blurbs just took the worst parts of that and slapped it together and say, this guy hates JJ McCarthy.
Well, and let's keep in mind, like, that's his stick. Like, his job is to create controversy, create clickbait. So, like, he's also playing a little bit of that character nowadays. But on the field, the dude caught everything and was super fun to watch. So, yeah.
I appreciate players that still claim the Vikings after their playing days. Like, that actually means something. He's like, they weren't just a player who came here, was collecting a paycheck, just a job. Like, I love that Randy Moss, like, he played for the Patriots, and he won't claim being a Raider at all, but you rarely ever hear him claiming a Patriot. He claims Vikings. When he's talking about us or we, he's talking about the Vikings. So, like, I appreciate that kind of stuff.
For sure.
What about you, Darren? Got to pick one.
You just named him, Randy Moss, man.
I knew one of you would have to do it.
I still remember I had a basketball tournament the day he got drafted, and there's all these rumors floating around how he's going to fall, and came home, the Vikings would take him. I was just psyched. And then, just from day one, man, it took off, and hard not to love the guy. He was from the sound bites to just the play on the field. It was amazing.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie. Oh man, everyone hates Joe Buck. Obviously, the way he announced that Packer game, but without Joe Buck, I don't think we have straight cash, homie. So I was giving credit for that.
Hey, and that was disgusting. I mean, that's cool now too. That's a cool little clip too.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you
Cody.
guys?
Hold on. I got to ask Cody this.
Oh.
Moss or Carter?
So favorite player wise, it's going to be Randy Moss. But wide receiver wise, I'm going Carter over Moss just because if if Carter had those first 2 years at Philly, I think he could surpass Jerry Rice in yards and all that too.
Yeah, that's true. That's like forgotten years for him.
When I say like my favorite player, if I have to pick one, and I'm not saying I want to say a bunch like you wanted to say, Kyle, but I won't. I usually tend to go with John Randall.
Oh, I love Randall.
Just because, like, I mean, I was younger, and so, you know, very impressionable, and watching him just be this dominant guy, and he was a smaller guy, I'm a smaller guy, so, like, I just really kind of related to that, and just, he was a dominant player, so as a kid, just watching him, and that's why it's cool that we got him on the intro, even though, yeah, we had to pay for it in cameo, whatever, but he's on there, he says our name, he says, let's Skol, so, like, that's like kind of surreal to me, and that's why, like, people are like, man, you've had that intro for, like, 2 years, makes you change it. I'm like, don't really want to. John Randall.
And that personality, like his personality was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The face paint.
Yeah.
When you watch the clips of him talking and stuff, like
yelling at the quarterbacks was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Randall intimidated people on the line. Anthony said, yeah, definitely intimidated. Especially, I mean, he was a small guy, but they knew what he was capable of.
Yeah.
Shoot, he intimidated me watching from home. I was scared of the guy.
Who's your favorite, Shaq?
I'm not gonna go with Randy Moss because he was my favorite. I'm gonna name another Viking, Max Brosman. Like,
let's go, I guess.
What are you, a Seattle fan?
No, all seriousness, I go with Adrian Peterson while he was on the Vikings before he had all the off the field stuff going on.
Yeah,
it's like we had some bad offenses early in Adrian Peterson's career, and he kind of made us relevant throughout those the time. Like once we traded Randy Moss and then Dante Culpepper got hurt, we kind of went down towards we could have been like up there with the Browns and stuff.
Yeah,
Browns and Jaguars. But luckily we got Adrian Peterson, and we had the 1-2 punch with Adrian Peterson and Chester Taylor, and he basically he made it enjoyable. Even though we couldn't really pass the ball down the field, but you never know. Handling the ball, he might take a 40-yard, 50-yard rush into a touchdown.
Absolutely.
I want to guess Fish's, but I won't. Go ahead, Fish.
Chris Hovan. No, I'm kidding. Jeff George. No, I'm kidding. It's actually the same as Keith. It's the guy in the open. John Randall's my favorite Viking. I will say this, though. My favorite football player of all time is Warren Moon.
That's what I was going to go with for you.
But we only got a couple of years of him, so John Randall's my favorite Viking.
Yeah.
Everything about him, how crazy he was, how damn good he was, and, just everything. I gobble up the John Randall videos whenever I can. I love how he tells the story about the quarterback, that he basically sacked that quarterback and the quarterback jumped on him and dropped the elbow on him and he acted it up going, and got him ejected from the game.
Oh, yeah.
That was Buccaneers. Who was it? It was
Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer,
Yep.
I love that. I just love that stuff. He's, and he'd be like, we should go fishing, and he, like, when he was talking about the tackle for the Cowboys, he's like, sir, how you doing today, sir? Because he just, he recognized game. But I just loved it. Love everything about John.
Yeah.
And he's another one of those players that really represents the Vikings after his playing days.
Absolutely.
He's got the Purple Fridays and his Purple
He's
Friday.
all over Twitter, man. I love following him on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. He's on other social medias too, Kyle, but you haven't ventured out to those yet.
I haven't. Look, man, just trying to figure this world out. So
I hear you. So Cody, you had the most time to think about this.
So yeah, it's a lot of time to think about it because I didn't think a player out there could dethrone Randy Moss as my favorite player. But I think after he retires this year, it's going to be Harrison Smith as my favorite player. A Viking for life. He's done so much for this team on that safety side of the ball. For the defense alone, he is the architect of what that defense was in 2017, 18, 19. When he had Kendrick's bar, he was the fixer. He's the guy you needed to get a play out of to finish. And yeah, Harrison Smith is he's inching up on that throne. if he retires a Viking, doesn't do an Eric Weddle and goes to the Rams or the Chargers or whatnot, he's definitely going to be moving in on top of that throne.
Good call.
Yeah, he's my last favorite player. Like no more favorite players. I'm a fan of the Vikings. I want the Vikings to win. And players these days, like, they're not here that long. They're here for, maybe a couple seasons and they move on. They're just, visiting. So it's hard to like get attached to players these days. So I always say that Harrison Smith's my last favorite player.
I like that.
Kyle, do you have a favorite Vikings game or favorite Vikings moment?
Yeah, I mean, as always, I got two. I mean, the Minneapolis.
One's the miracle, goes number two.
Okay.
Okay. Number two, one's the miracle.
Number two would have to be last year. So my dad retired from his job after 36 years, and I told him, hey, when you retire, we're going to watch the Vikings in person. And so last year, I got to go to the Packers-Vikings game at the end of the season last year with my dad. Darren and I met there, and somehow, some way, I still don't know how, my dad and I ended up on the field for the warm-ups watching the game. And so, or not watching the warm-ups. We had to leave once the game started. But it was just everything around it. The excitement as the game started, kind of the importance of that game at US Bank. I still feel like it's one of the, most important games they've had at that stadium. To be there for our first game live watching the Vikings, and then for it to end the way they did with Sam Darnold throwing that little short route to Cam Akers, him falling backwards, bobbling it. And even watching your intro video with that Skol chant, like I still get chills on it. It's a surreal environment. It's a super fun place to be. So I don't think anything would top that for me personally. But as a fan, obviously, if they ever win it all, that'll be the best moment. But for me, just as a personal experience, that game against the Packers last year was pretty amazing.
That's a great moment, just because of personally and the type of game it was and what the game meant. And you basically seen our last Super Bowl win. Because that was our Super Bowl.
Yeah, I like to think that.
That's awesome. What about you,
Sam Darnold? The last time. Oh, sorry.
No. Finish, Kyle.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the last time Sam Darnold was relevant in a Vikings uniform, I got to see in person. That was fun.
Shaq's not gonna like that one. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. What about you, Darren? What's your moment?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously the miracle, but I'll throw back to the original miracle. The 2009 Niner game with Brett Favre, Week 3, where they, I couldn't believe that. Coming out party really for Favre the first two games. He was just kind of, run the offense, hand the ball off, and then game had everything. Percy Harvin breaking that 102-yarder for the kick return touchdown was amazing, and then get the ball back with a minute and change. And hey, Favre, we need a touchdown, man. He's killed us on this for the last 15 years, and drives down and hits Greg Lewis, the guy they brought in, first game in the Vikings uniform. It's crazy. So, yeah, that was pretty memorable.
No, that's a great one, and I remember that game vividly. And I had a hard time with Favre coming over. I was like, I don't want that Packer. Plus, he's old. He's not the same guy, and like I struggled with it the first few weeks. When they got that touchdown, I jumped off my couch celebrating, and I said, "Brett Favre, you are a Viking."
Absolutely.
Like, that's when I accepted it. And I think Fish has a little story about that game.
Kind of missed out on a possible relationship with Lil Honey over that. I was just starting to see this woman, and she was at work, and she said, "Hey, why don't you bring me some lunch?" And I went up to go get her some lunch, and I stopped in at this bar to get her food, and I looked up and saw that game was happening on the TV, and ended up staying there watching the whole second half, ignoring my phone. That was pretty much the end of that. She didn't want nothing to do with me after that, but I got to see that play too, baby.
I tell him he dodged a bullet. If she didn't understand that, then he dodged the bullet.
Worth it, right?
Worth it.
So through all this hope and misery, Darren, has there ever been a time you've considered dropping your Vikings fandom?
Yeah, my older brother he'd laugh hearing this answer. It happened at the Miracle game, where we're up 17-0 at halftime. Everything's going great. Saints kick the field goal and take the lead, 30 seconds. And I sit down and I'm just like having what should have been a silent rant, but I was doing it out loud, just like in my seat, just everyone around me is laughing at me. And I'm just like, just pissed. And I'm standing up and I'm just like, shake my head. Then the miracle happens. Obviously, I explode with joy. But I'd say that was really the closest I've ever, came to dropping my fandom, which wasn't really that close at all. But yeah.
That's funny because mine is also against the Saints, but it was the 09 one. Like when we lost that game, I just felt so defeated. Like it's just never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. This team's never gonna win. This is the closest they could have ever come. Like I believe they were better than the 98 team. Like this was the year it was gonna happen, and it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I was like next year I'm just watching football. I'm not a fan of any team. I'm just gonna be a fan. I'm just watching football. I don't care. But of course, as the season got closer, the hope comes back. Oh, Favre's coming back. It's gonna be great. No, it wasn't.
Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah.
What about you, Kyle? Did you ever think about turning in your fan card?
Man, after the Philly flop game, I don't know that a football game has ever impacted me the next day like that game did. I really felt like that was our year. We were Minneapolis Miracle. The game was at US Bank in the Super Bowl. I just felt like everything was going in our direction to go to the Super Bowl and win. Foles is the quarterback of the Eagles. No way this guy's going to beat us. And then it was just touchdown after touchdown, kicking the gut. And I'm a school teacher, by profession. And I will say that Monday, I was the worst school teacher. I was the most irritable, angry. Kids got away with nothing. Sit down, do your work. I'm just going to sit at my desk and soak in my misery. But as Darren said, I don't know that was like a for real, like I'm going to leave them. But it was definitely like, I'm tired of this abuse. I don't know if I can do this for the rest of my life. So, and yet here I am starting a podcast this year for him. So there we go.
I was very surprised the way that game went, especially when we had probably the greatest quarterback in our franchise outside of Fran Tarkenton and Case Keenum. So I was really surprised that we lost that game. Cody, I don't think I've ever asked you this. Have you ever thought about turning your fan card?
No. So the reason I became a fan because I watched misery happen. Like watching my dad on Lazy Boy. And
I want that.
Yeah, I want that. Ripping the cushions off it, slamming the TV to the ground. You know what? I'm a fan. You couldn't. I haven't seen anything worse than watching that. So you couldn't do anything wrong against me to drop my fan.
There's some hope. What about you, Shaq? You ever think about turning the fan card?
No, but I did take a break. I told you guys the story before. Back when I was younger in my early Vikings days, when the Vikings finally traded Randy Moss and we drafted Troy Williamson to replace him, I'm like, wow. So this is what it's like being a Vikings fan without a elite number one receiver. And I took a break. Eventually came back when we got Chester Taylor, and then we drafted Adrian Peterson the year after. I'm like, well, I think I could come back to watching football again. This is like middle school era, so making harsh decisions as a middle schooler. More recently, though, I'll say it'd probably be that Eagles game when we lost to Nick Foles. It really made me question, like, how did we had an elite defense that whole year, and then Nick Foles shredded that defense. I'm like, it's just not meant to be. I don't think I'm ever going to see this team win the Super Bowl.
But the way I cope with that one is, well, he beat Tom Brady too. So I mean,
I say the same thing, Keith.
That's my cope for that. Like they went and they beat the favored Patriots, and so I was like, what sucked most about that is we could have been the first team to play the Super Bowl in our home stadium.
Yeah,
that's what made it worse.
What's crazy about we got rid of Moss in 2004. It took us so long just to get that position patch. We went Williamson, then we went Treadwell, and then we're like, yeah, we're running out of first round picks. We thought Burleson was going to be the guy, and then Diggs in his fourth year out of nowhere is what did it for us, right? And then we're like, okay, we're back here, and then now we have Jefferson. It took us how long? 2019 was it? 2018?
It depends if you consider Sidney Rice a good wide receiver.
Yeah, and
Percy in there.
Percy Harvin. He doesn't like Percy Harvin.
I feel like at the time we had Sidney Rice and Percy Harvin, we really didn't have a quarterback. We only had Favre, and then after that,
They didn't themselves transcend a quarterback. It took the quarterback to transcend them.
What was wrong with Tavares Jackson and Christian Ponder?
What's wrong with them?
Don't forget Matt Castle.
Like Randy
God rest T-Jack's soul.
Like Randy Moss,
Super Bowl champion T-Jack.
Randy Moss took a dude off the couch, retired, and made him a good quarterback. It wasn't Brett Favre making Percy and Rice a good wide receiver.
Especially Rice. I don't know. Percy looked pretty good, but he just didn't play long enough.
Percy was a weapon, though. I don't even really classify that guy as a wide receiver. Like when I think about like the top Viking receivers, it takes a minute for him to even register in my mind when I'm thinking about what players I'm trying to do my top 5. Like Percy Harvin doesn't really come because he's like
he's almost like Jahmyr Gibbs right now. Like
what about Charles Johnson? You guys don't like Charles Johnson?
Charles Johnson, Jerome Simpson,
the Juice.
Charles Johnson.
The dude did a cartwheel in the end zone and got a fucking contract. Crazy.
Oh, Jerome, yeah. So a little more contemporary. Probably the biggest dividing thing in Vikings Nation right now is JJ McCarthy. So, Kyle, where do you stand? Are you with JJ McCarthy, or do you think that that's already a flop?
I'm still in. Man. I've been on him since the beginning. I keep going back to he's a 22-year-old kid. We got a 22-year-old running ship for the Vikings. He needs time, and he just hasn't had that. And I think the last few games have been a true sample of what we could have in JJ McCarthy. If you saw it, I don't know if you guys saw it, but he's the only quarterback in NFL history to have 3 touchdowns in his first 8 starts. He's had some duds, but to me, the potential is there, and I think we got to continue to ride it. And I think we got to give it time. I think as Vikings fans, we demand more sooner because of how bad we've had it. But I think if you look in the course of history, these top draft picks, they need a season under their belt to really get themselves going. And so I'm still on the JJ train, still buying JJ McCarthy cards. I still think he's going to be the guy. 9 is mine. I'm good.
I like how you said the potential is there. We just haven't got to there yet, and Vikings fans just want to erase it real fast. Like it's not Christian Ponder where the potential was never ever going to be there. There's potential. We just got to get there.
Well, and you're coming off a 14-win season. Mm-hmm. You let Sam Darnold go. He's now crushing it with the Seahawks. It's just hard as Vikings fans to sit and watch this guy that was supposed to take us to the next level not do it instantly. And you just got to be willing to wait on it. And I think listening to Justin Jefferson talk, like he's the most logical Viking right now, and no Vikings fans are listening to him. He gets. And
you think they'd get sick about the quarterback. We're a quarterback away. This is the guy's going to take us to the next level. Yet they never take us to the next level. With all the many veteran quarterbacks we've had in here, they never got us to that next level Super Bowl. Cunningham, Fran Tarkenton the second time around. Not Dante Culpepper, we drafted him. Favre, and then Cousins. Yeah, it's just Warren Moon was even one. You can even add him in there. It's supposed to take it to the next level. Guess what? They didn't take us to the next level. It's time to move on. Let's try something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Darren? What side of this are you?
I'm bullish. I'm still buying JJ stock, man. And I think he came into a hard situation with the expectations. Obviously, there's talent on the team, but expectations were super high this year, and that's why everyone's pissed. If we were supposed to be a fringe playoff team, I don't think he'd have the blowback he's having right now. But everyone thought, we're a Super Bowl team. And turns out our quarterback wasn't quite ready, and he just needs reps, and that's what he's getting. And I think, again, like Kyle said, you see the potential in the games. And that's just, it's painful to kind of wait it out. But like Cody was saying too, we've been waiting, decades to get a franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. And we're 8 starts in and we're ready to say we don't have one. Like, absolutely not. And I guess, again, I'll even for those people that say we should have kept Darnold, I don't know. We saw what Darnold's ceiling was last year. And I'm a Sam Darnold guy. I like him. I'm rooting for him here for the Seahawks, but I think to beat Sam Darnold, you just got to get in his face, and we saw that last year. So if they can keep him clean, I think he'll be fine. But I'm happy we're rolling with JJ, and I think he's got a lot more to give.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. We all wanted to, get our own quarterback and develop him, and hopefully, he's our quarterback for the next 10 years. But as soon as like the first 6 games are played, oh no, I don't want to do this. This is too much. And then he goes and he has 2 pretty good games, and they're still finding reasons to talk crap about him instead of kind of embrace it. Okay, all we wanted to do was see him do something and prove to us that he has the capability to be a quarterback. That's what they would always say when they would talk down on him and say how bad he is. Like, he can't even show us that he has the ability to be a quarterback. He's shown that to you the last 2 weeks, and like some people are still choosing to dump on him, and that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, the bad
Which Skol, Robbie?
Makes sense to me. Like, you still got to beat who you're playing.
And you guys kind of touched on Sam Darnold. Kyle, do you think we should have kept Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold was never part of the plan. So, I'm behind KOC. I'm behind the front office, the Vikings. I'm behind Kwesi. Like, it was never part of the plan for Sam Darnold to do that. And everything they worked for to get JJ McCarthy, to build the roster around him, like, Sam Darnold wasn't in that equation. So I trust the process, to quote the old Philadelphia 76ers. Like, I trust the process. I trust the leadership of our front office. I don't get paid to make those calls. So for me, I think I'm happy for Sam. I think Seattle's a great spot for him. But yeah, it wasn't part of the equation for the Minnesota Vikings.
But you can stomach this.
Yeah, I can take it. Especially when I got nothing but Seahawks fans all around me in Washington State. So I hear about this all the time.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be rough.
I can't tell you how many texts I get during Seahawks games like, thanks for Sam Darnold. Appreciate you giving us Sam Darnold. Like, okay, you're welcome. We'll see in the playoffs.
When the Seahawks win the Super Bowl, Shaq's going to come party with you in Seattle.
Let's go.
Are you in Seattle? We partying?
I can get over there. It wouldn't take me long.
All right. I already got
he's
my
in Washington. So Shaq's our resident Sam Darnold stan.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, I gotta correct this. It's only because
USC.
Besides that, it's only because we had Kirk Cousins, and I said this when we had Kirk Cousins. I'm like, the thing Kirk Cousins is doing for us, Sam Darnold could do for us for less money. And that's why I was like, after he proved it last year, that's why I was like, he's a great kid. I don't mind him winning the Super Bowl because it's not his fault that he kind of struggles in the playoffs because a lot of quarterbacks struggle in the playoffs, and he don't have that persona or that personality to be so cocky. He's a very chill dude.
Yeah.
But see, you said he could do the things that Kirk Cousins did without costing us Kirk Cousins money, but now he's getting Kirk Cousins money.
Hey, well, shit. It's not fully guaranteed, though. It's not fully guaranteed.
Just saying. Another dividing thing is our coach and GM. Individually, where you stand with those guys, Darren?
Definitely pro KOC. I know he's getting a lot of flack for like play calling and stuff. I still baffles my mind because if you look at the plays he's calling, guys are open on every play. So he can't throw the ball too. So he's drawing up the right plays, getting guys open. Yeah, I'd like to see us run the ball more and more effectively. Hopefully we can figure that out. But I'm pretty big on KOC. Kwesi, I'm not necessarily going to be like, hey, we should fire Kwesi, but I think he has a prove it year in the draft. I mean, his drafts have been shit. And so he needs to hit one. Probably need 4 or 5 starters in the next draft, or he's going to be struggling because, again, this year we brought in, 5, 6 high-priced free agents, and
they're all old and injured, but
hasn't looked
high-priced.
Will Fries has been pretty good, but everyone else has really been kind of a bust. So just shows you can't really build your team that way. So you got to draft better, and we absolutely need him to hit on these draft picks this year.
Where are you at leadership, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I love KOC. I mean, I love his leadership. I love his presence. I love his positivity. I think I coach, multiple sports in my community. I look to KOC for that inspiration. I think he coaches a lot like I coach. He's got that mindset. Build up leaders, positive reinforcements, being that guy that's always going to be backing their players. So I do think KOC is a great coach. I think this year he's just been in a tough spot. Like Darren said, I think there's been a lot of moments where the plays were there. We just didn't make the plays. And so I think his play calling, I think over the last 2 games, we've seen he's willing to adjust, which I wasn't sure kind of halfway through, especially with the Carson Wentz project. I wasn't sure what he was doing. But it seems like he's kind of dialing his coaching style in along with the personnel. And then, yeah, with Kwesi, I like him. I think he does a good job, but I'm with Darren. I think this draft is going to be really important for him. I think we need to have a good draft, especially with us now being, out of the playoffs, having better picks than we would have if we would have been playing in the Super Bowl. So I think the draft is going to be a big opportunity for him to kind of show why he's worth the extension that we gave him.
Yeah. So I kind of have a hard time with that. Like, this is a big draft for him because that's what they said last year, that was a big draft for him. And how do you determine that? Like, you don't really determine it in a year. So we had to hold on to him for like 3 more years to see if this draft panned out or not.
Fair point. Yeah.
I would say we need immediate starters. So if he drafts guys that aren't immediate starters, that already going into next year, I'd say his seat's getting hotter. So I think that, if he can draft starters, and, we'll see how the season plays out. But, I think part of
they might be default starters at this point because we just don't have anybody.
Yeah, that might be the case. But
that's fair.
Yeah.
What's crazy is he came in here to kind of rebuild this thing, and we were a pretty old roster when KOC and Kwesi came in, and they're supposed to do this competitive rebuild. But right now, as it stands, our roster is older than when they came in.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So to me, it tells me it already failed. And like,
that's with a 22-year-old quarterback and 22-year-old defensive end too.
Yeah, we got those 2 22-year-olds, and they're not dragging down the average. So I am out on Kwesi. I know it's not all his fault, but he's the one at the end of the day that makes the final calls. He's the boss. He gets the credit and the blame. And I'm out. And
can I ask you a question? Does the Kyle Hamilton move stick?
Oh, God.
That's the one.
It really does. It really does. But I've actually forgiven that draft. Like, I've actually given him a mulligan because that was the first draft. It was terrible. It was bad, and he got too cute. But like, I've kind of let that go. But he hasn't made up for it at all.
Yeah, I think on that his first draft is what's really killing him. I think that brought down Kwesi. And he can't come back from that. The first 3 rounds were horrendous. And you can't come back from that in your first draft. You at least have to hit a couple or just one within those first 3. And I think we have one player on this team from 2022.
Do we have? Is that Naylor? Is he?
Yeah,
Naylor and Ty Chandler, who's still kind of on this team, I think.
Is he on the team?
Yeah. So that's tough for a GM.
Yeah. Well, and then you couple that with miss after miss, right? I think the year after he had Addison, really nobody else, and it's the roster. That's why our roster's old.
You're hitting the first rounders, but after that,
and it's tough coming in as a brand new GM and head coach, and not a quarterback is on that board worth drafting that year.
Yeah, totally. But that first year, at least they had Cousins. Even going into the second year, they had Cousins, who was reliable. You knew you weren't going to take a quarterback that year. But.
Right. Do you think KOC seat should be hot fish?
Yeah, shit, yeah. Granted, in my own personal opinion, the last 2 games have helped. And if, it seems like he's swallowed his pride and said, okay, I guess this is how I got to do it. He kind of has to continue that. If he decides to just go, hey, let's go ass over tea kettle this week against the Giants, screw it, we're going back to my way. I want him out. I want him out and gone yesterday because obviously he cannot maintain a game plan to fit his players. But if he continues to do what he's done the last 2 weeks, all right, okay, let's keep rocking. Kwesi, first day of free agency, I wanted him let out of the building in handcuffs. I do not want him anywhere near our next draft. Don't want it. The day after the season ends for us, I want it announced that the Wolves have relieved him of his duties.
That's fair, and that might happen. It feels like there's going to have to be a fall guy this year. I don't know.
For sure.
Byron Murphy, Jonathan Allen. Woo. Oh, my God.
For me, the thing is with the play calling, it feels like year one. Game 1 of the year of this season, the playbook is wide open. He's like, all right, here, take it all in, go run. And it should have been what he's been doing the past 2 games.
Yeah.
Because here's a couple pages. We'll add another page on the next week and then progress as McCarthy's progressing. It was just, here you go. You're the Wolves. Enjoy the fire. And that's how you progress a quarterback like that.
Yeah.
Especially a guy who hasn't touched the field. And he started touching the field, mid off season, right at OTAs. So,
Yeah, KOC is the first coach to get into his 5th season without a playoff win since 2018. So a lot of coaches don't live to see their 5th year, but he's done a lot of good things, man. Like we've had
14 win seasons or 2, I guess, was it 13 wins his first year? But yeah, I don't know.
And then, I mean, in 23, we probably would have hit the double digits again if Kirk's Achilles didn't go boom.
Yeah. Yeah. We
were getting hot. We were getting hot at that moment.
Yeah.
What saved KOC to get to that 5th year, I think, was not having a quarterback to draft that first year. Also, he had to wait until that second contract comes up, and now I get my quarterback.
So, with the season being what it is, we're obviously eliminated from contention. We do have a lot of draft capital coming up in this draft, which is something we haven't had. Kyle, are you team tank right now, or you still want to be team spoiler?
I mean, we got the Packers and the Lions coming up. So for me, it's like we got to play spoiler. The saving grace right now is that we can possibly eliminate the Packers' playoff hopes and maybe even, do some damage to the Lions as well. So I'm team. Let's see what JJ McCarthy has. Let's get Justin Jefferson over 1,000 yards. Let's let Flores continue to build up that defense, showcase what he can do. I'm a little nervous about Flores, and we've kind of talked about this. Like, I think he should be a head coach somewhere, but I hope that he stays around Minnesota for another season. I think him and KOC work really well together, and obviously our defense has been our saving grace. We were in the games we were in when we were playing terrible because our defense was, the strongest part of our team. So I love Brian Flores. So I would love to see some good games. I think Darren has said it before, but if we don't come out on top and we get some good games, that's our benefit. But it's also our benefit, too, if we go out there and play spoiler against the Lions and Packers.
Right, Shaq? You're on board with that, right?
And JJ needs a redemption game against the Packers. He needs one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shaq, why are you shaking your head no?
I got Shaq shaking his head.
Because the season's over. I don't know if beating the Lions or Packers would do anything for me. Because even if we beat them, they still have a chance to make it to the playoffs. And I just want to see JJ McCarthy have a good game. Yeah. Other than that, I'm in full draft mode.
Yeah.
How about 1 and 2, Shaq, and the one win being against the Lions and knocking them out of the playoffs?
For me personally, I'd rather beat the Packers.
I agree.
Between the Packers and the Lions, it's just my hate for the Packers is more than the Lions. Lions is just, I want to say they new blood, as in basically they started feeling themselves after, they became good. Packers is always in the back of my mind who we always competing with to be the kings of the NFC North.
And that should be the criteria for quarterback. Can you beat Green Bay?
Absolutely.
Number one, can you beat Green Bay? We'll work on the rest later.
Careful with what you say, Cody. So people might come after you and say that we have a quarterback that can't beat them.
Yeah.
You better watch out.
We'll be on there. I'll be disappointed if you can't do it.
So Darren, I take it you're on team spoiler.
I mean, it's like you're watching the games, you can't cheer for them to lose. That's not fun. I'm not going to sit here and be mad that they're winning. Objectively, I know it's better that we lose, but I think it's kind of hedging. Like, I would love to see JJ look good. If we end up losing, I think that's fine. I'm not going to be upset about that. But, the big thing is seeing JJ progress, keep getting better these last 3 games. And, by the by, if we can piss in the Packers Cheerios and keep them out of the playoffs, I'd be okay with that. So,
but, I mean, you guys can probably agree, like, Sunday night's game was fun to watch for the first time
it was
all season.
Super fun.
Like, to me, that's what we need.
Shaq
right now.
didn't have fun. I'll tell you right now. Shaq didn't have fun.
Oh, fair enough.
We did a show after, and I thought we got eliminated from the playoffs again.
It's because I wasn't on vacation no more. At least when we beat the Commanders, I was on vacation, so they couldn't ruin my vacation. But I was back home, and then we beat the Cowboys. I'm like, oh, y'all really trying to go to the playoffs? Hold on, let me check. It's impossible.
I mean, it was possible all the way until the Bears lost to the Browns.
Yep.
But I was already in the mode to win.
When the Bears beat the Browns.
But yeah, we have the worst possible schedule. Even if you wanted to tank, like you said, who wants to lose to the Lions? Who wants to lose to the Packers? Who wants to lose to the Cowboys? Like, those are just teams you don't want to lose to under any circumstance.
Right.
Like, if the schedule's a little bit different, maybe it has like AFC teams in there or something like that, or playing like the Falcons, like, okay, whatever, Buccaneers, okay, like, that's fine. But
yeah, who wants to lose
to the Lions on Christmas? You want to lose to the Lions on Christmas?
Who wants to lose to the Giants that could possibly have a top 3 pick?
My kids have seen me cry enough.
I think the Giants are trying to lose. They about to literally try to lose this game.
Jackson Dart's going to throw one completion, and then they're going to pull him from the game with a concussion symptom.
Concussion. But he didn't get touched. He's got concussion.
Yeah. They pop up,
So with the season winding down and we started to see some players go out with injuries, Grenard, Metellus, Darius Uprising play another snap. I imagine after this week, some more players will all of a sudden have these injuries that they can't play either. Kyle, who's one player that you would like to see get some more snaps before the season ends?
I mean, to me, I want to see Justin Jefferson and JJ McCarthy. I want to see that connection blossom. I want to see those two guys figure it out. I'd love to see Jefferson put up a couple, 2 out of 300-yard games as we close the year. So that's really what I'm focused on right now, is that connection. I love seeing Jalen Naylor kind of coming into his own as wide receiver 3. But I would really like to see Jefferson and McCarthy kind of form that bond on the field that it seems like they have off the field, which is kind of funny. They seem to be like super tight off the field, but I don't know. I don't know if McCarthy just gets nervous throwing to Jefferson or what, but we got to see that connection blossom in the next 3 games.
Yeah, Jefferson gave JJ McCarthy his first Mike and Ike. Like, they should be bonded.
It's weird. We wouldn't be saying this connection with JJ and McCarthy if Jefferson would have caught that catch in the end zone, or would have caught the 3 passes that were up here that went through his hands. Like, we'd be okay. Something feels off with Justin Jefferson. I think
it's fair, Cody.
I think Justin Jefferson, like he mentioned it too earlier. He mentioned during the offseason he plans on doing a lot of things with McCarthy. I think he didn't have that this offseason, and we're seeing it right there on the field.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I feel like he's not getting his fair share of criticism. Like, it's all going to McCarthy, and there's some tough throws, like that high one he threw against Dallas that JJ missed. Hit him in the hands. It's been a tough catch, but usually $35 million receivers make those catches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it feels like. Then again, obviously the end zone one, that was an obvious drop, but
yeah, especially as a wide receiver who gets doubled or triple coverage or bracketed all game long, when it hits your hands, you should probably feel a little bad about that. Like,
absolutely.
I'm probably going to get a ball in the next 20 minutes now,
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Darren, is there a player that you would like to see get some more snaps in these last 3 games?
Ty Felton for me is the one that I haven't seen him really on the field at all on offense. It was a third round pick. It really felt like it'd be nice to see if he can play. Like, I have no clue what he adds. He's played special teams all year. Obviously, he's not as good as Naylor for wide receiver 3, but I think going into next year, are we bringing back Jefferson, Addison, and Naylor, all of them? I don't know. And so knowing if Ty Felton can kind of step in and contribute, I think would be helpful to see. I'm going to throw Harry in there too. Just it'd be nice to see Harrison Smith get one more pick. Just this is kind of the last go around. Love to see him get actually 2 more. I think he's at 38? Be nice to see him get to 40 and call it a career.
Yeah, I need to see one too, because a week or 2 ago I made a hot take prediction that Harrison Smith will have at least 1 more interception and 1 more sack before the season ends. So he almost had 1 of each against the Cowboys.
You know who I like, and I would love to see him kind of working as a little bit of a gadget guy is Miles Price. I think if we could bring him in as some of those end arounds, just kind of bring him in
Naylor.
there, see what he can do in the open field. I mean, obviously he has that skill set as our return guy, but when we need the 3rd and 1, can he run a little end around hitch? I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to see what he can do in open field on the offensive side of the ball. While we don't really have anything to shoot for offensively, it might be fun to see what some of these guys like Ty Felton, Miles Price can do out there.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a good call out. Like we've kind of mentioned that on our show too, because he kind of made his appearance in preseason as a wide receiver. He had a connection with Brosmer, so like that's kind of how I first recognized him as a receiver. Then it's like, oh, he can also return kicks too. I didn't really think, oh man, this is going to be our kick returner all season. And he's been good at it. It's just unfortunate, like his best returns have all been called back due to penalties.
Right.
Cody, who was your guy that you wanted to see get more snaps?
The guy I want to see get more snaps is Jalen Naylor. I really want to see Jalen Naylor get more snaps because I think there is a connection there between McCarthy and Naylor, and we've been seeing it. Right? And I'm looking at Jordan Addison. I mean, I want Jordan Addison to do well. There's nothing wrong with Jordan Addison, but you are a first-round pick, right? But you are yet to hit 1,000-yard receiver.
For sure.
If I could have drafted you in the 2nd round, then if I'm only going to get 900 yards and that's it.
Well, and then obviously the off the field stuff with him, and he's eligible for a new contract after this year. I just don't know what the future looks like for Jordan Addison. Like I'm a fan. Like I think he's a good player. But I think the Bengals have showed if you're going to pay 2 wide receivers like a lot of money, like you're obviously going to not pay people at other positions. So I just don't know what they're going to do with Addison. So the Naylor call is a good one too. It'd be fun to see if he could step up to wide receiver too.
Fish, who was yours?
CJ Ham. I brought it up the way the running game started to go against Dallas when he came into the game, his pass blocking, he scored a touchdown. Keith even brought it back to the Washington game where he actually threw a safety-saving block when McCarthy almost got sacked in the end zone against Washington and ended up running and converting on that down. I just think, like Keith said, Keith followed up and said, yeah, he's like McCarthy's best friend right now. He's the one that's helping him the most. And I'd just like to see him play a little bit more, get more use out of him. The guy makes $3 million something a year. So we should be playing him more than special teams.
And Shaq, who was your guy that you wanted to see get some snaps?
For me, it was Jay Ward because right now we kind of got to see what we're going to have without Harrison Smith. And right now our safety room is looking up in the air. And there's going to be some nice safety prospects in the draft. So I'd rather see, if we could at least find a position for Jay Ward.
Caleb Downs would look pretty good in purple.
Yeah,
he would. That's why I've been saying we should have been tanking so we could go ahead and get that draft pick. No, I think if the Vikings really want Caleb Downs, they'll have an opportunity to do that. Like they're no strangers to trading, and we have capital to trade up for. And I do think Caleb Downs is a player that'll be worth making that move for. So that's who my fingers are definitely crossed for.
The interesting one would be, again, going back to Addison, like if you're trading with a team that needs a wideout, I don't know if that's enough to get you up like 6-7 spots in the draft, but
yeah, and that's good.
I haven't thought about that one. That's crazy.
You got 2 wideouts getting ready to get paid right now. That means you need a 2 or a 3 back on this team.
Right. I mean, that's just it. If you're going to keep Naylor, which I think they should, I don't know if you can sign Addison long term then.
Interesting. So, only a couple more questions. Do you guys feel like what we're seeing from the Vikings to finish the season that next year you got some hopes, or do you think we're going to be kind of in a rebuild?
I mean, we're always hopes, man. No, I mean, that's the great thing about the NFL is like I think you always think you have a chance going into it. I legitimately think though, if you look at the pieces we have on offense, like if our offensive line is all healthy, like I think we'll be solid on the O-line. probably need a swing tackle there because O'Neal getting older, Darrisaw's hurt, but you get some depth at the O-line. But otherwise, offensively, I think we're fine. Defense is where we're going to have to figure out, which players we're keeping, and hopefully we can draft well. But yeah, I think with Flores running the D, I think he'll get creative no matter who we have for the personnel, and I think we'll at least be sufficient. So yeah, I'm hopeful going into next year that we'll be a playoff team.
Wait, you got the same hopes, Kyle?
Man, we're the Purple Dubs with hopes, man. As soon as we were eliminated, we were already on to next year. Next year is going to be our year. So I don't think you can be a Vikings fan and be okay with a rebuild. I think that's why we're so disappointed with how this season went. So let's look at this season as a rebuild opportunity to evaluate, see what we need, see what we got, and yeah, I mean, as Darren said, the NFL every year is a new year. So new teams right now. We got the Patriots, the Broncos, Seahawks, the Niners. I mean, teams that you haven't heard of being relevant, in several years are now relevant. So, yeah, I absolutely think the Minnesota Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl next year. Why not?
Why not us?
All right, perfect. All right, before I get you guys out of here and I close this down so we can all get back to our families, let's get your guys' score predictions for this game, and I want you guys to give a hot take, and I'll give you guys a second to think about that while we remind you of ours from last night. Michael Fish, what was your score prediction and what was your hot take last night?
18-14 Minnesota.
And what was your purple prophecy?
I gotta be real, man. I can't remember. I can't remember.
We'll make up a new one then.
Out here.
I know yours. 175.
That's right. Okay, Justin Jefferson will get over 175 yards receiving.
Like that.
And I had the Vikings winning this game 31-17, and JJ McCarthy throwing for his first 300-yard game. I got hopes, baby. I'm a dope with hope.
That was it. Let's go.
This one will be interesting. Cody, what was yours?
Yeah. I think it was Minnesota 31, New York 10, and three different receivers will have a touchdown in this game.
Nice.
That wasn't it, but that would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
If I can clip that one in.
Yeah.
What about you,
Then you
Shaq?
said that these two guys out. And
I believe I said 28, 21 Giants.
You did.
And then my purple prophecy shit. I can't even think what I said.
The Henny was gone at this point.
I was too much off that Henny.
Oh, I remember it. It wasn't 2 defensive touchdowns.
Oh, the 3 special teams touchdowns.
It was two. It was 2.
touchdowns.
Two special teams touchdowns.
Nice.
Okay.
Maybe Miles Price gets one. And he said maybe a block punt for a touchdown. Maybe someone has an Adam Thielen-like type game. All right, you had time to
we're real
marinate
professionals
on it,
around here, fellas.
Darren. Yeah. Darren, give us your score prediction and make a prediction.
34-16 Vikings, and I got JJ McCarthy on 4 touchdowns.
Ooh.
Does he have a 4 touchdown game yet? I know he's got all the
Only got
threes.
3.
Okay.
He's gonna bump it
300
up.
yards, 4 touchdowns. We'll see what these haters got to say after that. What about you, Kyle?
I'm going to go 30-17 Vikings. Of course. I think Darren and I picked the Vikings to win every game this season, by the way.
You got hopes.
30-17, and let's go the Vikings get a pick 6. I think 1 pick 6. Come on, give us one. That's what we need.
No, that's hot because we only have like 4 interceptions this year.
Exactly.
So
So
I mean, to
that's-
say they're
that's
going
what
to
I
get
think.
another one this year, that's hot itself.
I had in my brain that McCarthy would go 300 yards, but I didn't want to take that from you, Keith. So let's go, man. I'm going to go Van Ginkel.
Yep.
Pick 6.
On a screen pass
Come
to
on.
Wandale Robinson. That's
Why
what I
not?
was thinking.
Why not? Just don't get caught.
It's still crazy. Teams still do that. Like, why wouldn't you call audible out of that play if he's on that side? It makes no sense to me.
Because he's smart. The quarterbacks aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Fish has got the 6 field goal game.
I like it.
I hate it. I when he said it last night, I was like, I'd rather just lose. I mean,
Hey,
like if we were playing like the Packers and the playoffs were on the line, okay, we win 18-14, I take it. But we're going to play the 2-win New York Giants that are trying to lock up the first overall pick, and that's how we beat them. I mean, and that means JJ McCarthy probably had a terrible game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he could have plenty of
He's
yards.
probably just gonna finish. You know,
But let's get Will
got
to throw.
in there, but he didn't finish.
Let's get Will to throw to the Pro Bowl. Let's do it.
You know what's going to happen is they're going to.
I mean, he should already be there.
Yeah, true.
What they did last week when they're in the red zone was just, okay, Jefferson needs a touchdown, force feed the shit out of that pass on the right side.
I could see that. I could see that.
Oh shit, he dropped it.
These two dopes will do well with their podcasts. Great guys. Good luck, guys.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Kyle, what day does your guys' show come out? Around what time?
So we drop our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and then on YouTube Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m. West Coast. So for you East Coasters, that'd be 10 a.m. And then as well, we do lots of YouTube short stuff on our YouTube channel. But the main episode is on Tuesday mornings.
All right. So make sure you check these guys out. Purple Dopes with Hopes, their podcast. I got it scrolling across the bottom. Had it scrolling across the bottom the whole time. When you support them, you're supporting us, and vice versa. Kyle, final words?
Let's Skol, baby.
Love it. Darren, final words?
Skol.
All right, fellas. We'll talk again.
Take care,
Thanks
guys.
for joining us.
Let's go! For Viking fans, Minnesota Vikings.